prisoners, and in return, we sent back one of their shortstops. That's the way it works. For more international news, I read that despite Russia's move to raise interest rates this week, the value of the ruble has continued to crash. Then Putin was like, good thing I put all my money in Beanie Babies.
So, Sony's canceled the release of the interview. And North Korea really is to blame. It seemed like a silly hoax that the nation of North Korea was actually behind the Sony Pictures cyber attack because they wanted to stop the release of a Seth Rogen, James Franco movie. But it's all true. And if you are like me and familiar with James Franco's shenanigans and the type of stuff he pulls on social media when it's time to do promotions for movies, he's very creative with that stuff. Like, I can't even remember what the movie was he was promoting, but there was this thing where, like, Seth Rogen creepily hits on underage girl on Instagram. Sorry, not Seth Rogen, James Franco. And everyone was like, oh, he's a creeper. Here's a screenshot of him hitting on an underage girl over Instagram. And it turned out to be a hoax, and it turned out to be a complete fabrication from the mind of James Franco in order to promote his new movie. And it was very clever, and he got us all for the most part. So if James Franco had gotcha in the past when you heard that this was happening in the run-up to the release of his movie, The Interview, you could be forgiven for thinking this is another Franco hoax. Go on, Franco. What's the point? No, it's all true. U.S. officials have determined that North Korea orchestrated the massive hack and release of sensitive documents, and they're calling the attack, quote, far more destructive than any seen before on American soil. It'll be interesting to see how the government responds to this, though. President Obama's only statement so far is that people should still go to the movies. But we know how Sony responded. They actually pulled the interview. If you were among the folks that I knew that were like, if you allow them to put us off going to the movies and the terrorists win, and I'm going to get my popcorn, and I'm going to get my soda, and I'm going to go stimulate the American economy, and I'm going to go watch the interview and F Kim Jong. You can't do that anymore. They actually pulled the interview yesterday. And they said they have no plans currently to release it in any format whatsoever. Movies cost, I don't know what the budget was on this one, but hundreds of millions of dollars to make sometimes. And I'm guessing this is more in the $50 to $100 million range. That's my guess. I don't really know anything about movie making. But that said, that's all flushed down the toilet. As is any chance of ever making a profit off of it. The hackers kicked us firmly in the money. And we lost. We lost this one. Sony lost. But in the grander scheme of things, America lost. They pulled the interview. No plans to release it in any format, not video on demand, not streaming, maybe you can BitTorrent it, I don't know. But you're probably going to be getting it off of wherever the hackers decided to put it. So who knows what the hell that comes with. Interestingly enough, though, literally hours after Sony announced they were pulling the interview, ads for the movie were still all over TV. Apparently it was just too late to pull them. Yeah. More money flushed down the toilet. How much do you think it costs to buy an advertising campaign for a movie? Lots. Add that into the damage done, the collateral damage. The reaction on Twitter, pretty freaking immediate. Rob Lowe tweeted, I know we don't look to folks like Rob Lowe for astute political observations on a regular basis, but you know what? He pretty much nailed this one. He said everyone caved. The hackers won. An utter and complete victory for them. Wow. Saw Seth Rogen at JFK. Both of us have never seen or heard of anything like this. Rob, in case you didn't know, appears as himself in the movie. Jimmy Kimmel called it, quote, an un-American act of cowardice that validates terrorist actions and sets a terrifying precedent. Steve Carell tweeted, quote, sad day for creative expression. Carell's directly affected by this, too. He was supposed to star in a thriller that he wrote about North Korea, but the project has since, for obvious reasons, been scrapped. Patton Oswalt, I think Patton Oswalt, who I'm a big fan of, went on the record saying, quote, "All joking aside, we just gave a comfy foothold to censorship, and it doesn't get any better from this point on." Yep. Bill Maher, who you either love or hate. Most people I know hate him. But I really related to what he said. Is that all it takes? Is that all it takes? An anonymous threat, and the number is 9/11, to throw free expression under the bus. Something to think about over the holidays. Hey, thank you so much for being part of my radio family. I'm off tomorrow, and then, well, next week is the joyous freaking Yuletide season. And I don't have an exact date when we're going to be back, so it's a little higgledy-piggledy at the moment. But I want to thank you so much for being part of my radio family. As I take stock, as one does, of the last 12 months, well, having you in my life and having you let me into yours, one of the things I'm most grateful for. And, of course, the services of super producer to the Barry Funkhauser. Merry Christmas, everybody!
And sometimes you feel good about yourself for being a better person and doing that. Well, this is not one of those times.